Nashakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapati Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahikana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahigana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarvescha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, everyone. Everyone can see my screen.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so thank you for joining. So we're discussing chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. And in the chapter 8, we are almost in the middle. So last week, we were discussing this section about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Actually, sorry for remembering Krishna. And coming back to Yoga Mishra Bhakti, the classification here, which starts from 10. In some commentaries, you will see classification starts from 9, Yoga Mishra Bhakti. And I also explained 3 types of Bhakti. So anyone remembers the name? So one is obviously Yoga Mishra Bhakti.
Pradhani Bhoot Bhakti.
Thank you, Mataji. What does that mean?
So Bhakti is predominant?
Thank you. So more than 50%.
More than 50%.
There are other processes, but predominant is Bhakti, yes?
Then Kevala Bhakti, where it's only Bhakti.
Yes.
And then third is Guni Bhoot Bhakti, where gunas are predominant.
Thank you, Mataji. So Yoga Mishra Bhakti will come under what?
Guni
Bhakti. Yeah. So anywhere where the Bhakti is not predominant, we're saying Yoga Mishra. So Yoga is predominant and Bhakti is a mixture in that. Huh? So we can remember that. Which Bhakti we are practicing is a Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, not maybe individual, but Kevala Bhakti. Rupa can
Kevala Bhakti.
Yeah, Kevala Bhakti. Huh? So we have no other aspiration, at least in principle. Anya Vilachita, Shunyam, Jnana Karmadi, Anavratam. So we are practicing that marg. We are not using Bhakti as a stepping stone. We are not using Bhakti to achieve some other goals. We are doing Bhakti and the only thing is to please Krishna. Okay, so let's start from 8.9, which is the first verse in this series. So 8.9, someone can give the context. I can see Vijay, Gopi Mataji, or Rasanand Prabhuji. Any one of you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So this, as you rightly said, it's a section related to the Remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So this, so you want to give the introduction or just the verse also, Prabhu?
You can do a little context, Prabhu, if you like.
Yeah. So Yoga Mishra Bhakti, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore refers this to those people who are involved in the Ashtanga Yoga. So that's why it's called, Prabhupada used in the verse as Sat Chakra Yoga. And also you highlighted about the 3 kind of bhaktis, what we do, that I think already Divya Mataji mentioned about the 3 kind of bhaktis. So this section deals with by meditating on Krishna and his qualities, or by practicing this kind of a Yoga Mishra Bhakti, one who thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead while quitting his body actually is able to reach the spiritual planet. So this section, this verse is around 9 to 10 ways in which we can remember Krishna. It has been highlighted in this. So this section also talks about what how Yoga Mishra Bhakti is able to fix his mind on Krishna, and he is able to leave his prana away. I mean, there are certain steps given here how that is being done by through the how concentrating on the eyebrows and the strength of yoga with the undeviated mind. How he is able to go to the spiritual planets, like, and and also talks about the requirement for being in this kind of a yoga, that Sat Shakshra yoga. So how a person has to be renounced without attachment. So the verse number 11 talks about the requirement and also what is the result of such yoga, what is doing. So the result would be ultimately to get liberated and enter into the Brahman. So the verse number 12 talks about what is the process of this Shakshra yoga, how he is able to withdraw his senses. Pratyahara, he is able to perform because he is part of the Ashtanga yoga, and how he has to fix his mind and heart on the super soul. And ultimately, it talks about the ultimate destination by pronouncing the syllabus Om, and one who is able to think of him, such person is able to reach the spiritual planet. So this is the overall this section is talking about. So mute.
You are in mute.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, somehow I went on mute. So I was just saying, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice summary you have given for the whole section. Maybe someone else can do 8.9. Prabhu has already given all the foundation.
Prabhu, can I do it?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this verse is actually basically talking about Kavim. So first I'll read the translation. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, and he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is unconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. So Kavim is the person who is like who knows everything, and Puranam, that the oldest one. So Krishna is saying that I'm the oldest one, and I'm the smaller than the smallest. It's very contradictory, but still he is the controller. He's the main, like he is controlling everything. And he's the maintainer. So I'm the maintainer. So Kavim Puran Manushasitaram. Kavim is the person who knows everything, and Puranam is the oldest, and Anushasitam is the controller, and he is Anoho. So again, Anu, when it's Anu, it's atom. So he's smallest. He's smaller than the atom, and Anusmari. So always who is sorry. So he is the maintainer of everyone, and he is inconceivable. So inconceivable is here is Achintya. So where is the line? Yeah, it's third line. So Sarvasya Dhataram. Yeah, so he always thinks yeah, so because he's the maintainer of everything, everybody, and he is the Achintya. He's inconceivable, and he has form. He's Achintya Rupam, so he has form. He's not formless. And Aditya Varnam is like he has that Varna is like color, and he is Aditya is sun. So he has that luminous like sun, and that's why he transcends all the darkness, tamas, ignorance. So he's transcendental from all the material nature. Achintya means you have given explanation that rupa, which is beyond our imagination, but that doesn't mean that we cannot think about his rupa. We can go through the shastra, and if somebody says that his face is like lotus or his feet is like lotus, then it's not enough, because that's the most beautiful thing which we can see in this world, but he is beyond that. When it's like when you say somebody is somebody is, owner of the whole world, and you are calling that person, oh, Jamidar ji aa gaye. So that's kind of insult to the the person, because he is the owner of the land. So we don't have that kind of, attributes to use or adjectives to use for Krishna, because we have limited beauty in this world. We don't know what is Krishna's beauty, and that's why Tulsidas ji is saying that Lord Rama eyes are like Lord Rama's eyes, because there is no other thing which you can compare with Lord Rama's eyes. So yeah, that was the thing I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Last week, I think you both were not there, so that's why I didn't request you to do. But you have heard the lecture, I guess.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
No, very nice. Just one more point I just wanted to add, actually 2 points I wanted to add. Although you have given the meaning very nicely. So Purana refers to, as Mataji was saying, the oldest. And Anushasitaram. So what's the link between these two words? So the translation, obviously, when Anushasitaram is one who controls, Purana is the oldest. Rupam Prabhu is explaining. Link.
So the link is, bro, even though Krishna is the oldest being, he still has the ability to control every one of us. So the example you gave us to explain this was of the boxer Muhammad Ali, who was once used to be one of the most strongest men. But when he reached his old age, he couldn't even lift his cup.
Yeah.
So, as we can see in material world, people lose their strength, but that's not the case with Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Radha Govind Maharaj gives this example. Sorry, a mundane example, but Maharaj gives this example. A prostitute and a very strong person, the older they get, the worse they become. Maharaj gives this example. But a Vaishnava or a sadhu, the older they become, the better they become. So old is not necessarily bad. A sadhu or a bhakta, when they become old, they become more mature. When the material world, or the strength or the beauty, that decays during the time. As they age, you can see their beauty or strength is gone. Intelligence also goes away. After 50, they say, oh, I can't remember much. Huh? So it decays. But in the spiritual sense, sadhu becomes better and better and better. Huh? That's and Anusasitaram and Anod Aniyam. What's the link between these two words? Anyone else? Bhakti Vijay Mataji. Ready to say something? So although he's the controller, so when we have this idea of he's the controller, he's the boss, then we have the idea of he must be a very big person. A controller must be big, because controller cannot be small. A small cannot control. But Krishna said, although I'm controlling everyone, but I'm smaller than the smallest. That's also contradictory properties. Anusmaredya. So what does Anu mean? Someone else can say. We discussed 4 or 5 meanings last week. What does Anu refers to when it comes as a prefix? Not Anu as a name, but when Anu is used as a prefix, so what qualities it enhances?
Going to the deep.
Yes, deep. More?
As per Shastra.
As per Shastra, more?
Spiritual.
Transcendental. Parama is like transcendental.
Okay. Continuous, constant, continuous, and again. Like Ismaran here. Ismaran, when the Ismaran should be done, constant Ismaran should be done. Again and again. Should be done with depth, not just like, oh, I'm remembering my family. Yeah, that's fine. But remembering Krishna is very different. It has to be done with depth and with the vision of Shastra. What else? Anukul Bhav. Anu means Anukul Bhav. So when we're remembering Krishna in a favorable memory, favorable remembrance of Krishna, not unfavorable. Sometimes we remember someone whom we hate. Narad Muni says in 7th canto, the person whom we hate, we remember that person more than the person we love. And that's how Hiranyakashipu, he gives the example of Hiranyakashipu. He remembered Krishna. But how did he remember Krishna? Because he hated Krishna. Shishupal could remember Krishna a lot. Kansa, all these examples are there. They're remembering Krishna as well, but not in a favorable mood. So Anu also refers to Anukul Bhav, more. Anugatya Bhav. So we are not the owner, we are the servant. So in that mood, we are remembering Krishna. Not he's my order carrier. Prabhupada used to call it Krishna, or God is not your order carrier. We are the order carrier of Krishna. Okay, thank you, Shraddha Mataji, for explaining nicely. all the, how many qualities are given in this verse? Remember, Krishna? 10.
10.
So 10 qualities are, remember, and each one is very beautiful. Okay, let's move to the next one. Maybe I can request Manmohan Prabhu. He has done, I'm not sure.
Not sure about this one, Prabhu.
No problem, no problem. I'll move to Matri Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. So, one who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as we have from in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna asks few questions, and in which he says like how to remember at the end of the life, and then Krishna replies, and in the continuation here, Krishna starts explaining about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. That means where there is a yoga mixed with the bhakti. So here, it's when you are at the time of death, how can we remember? Is one of the method is through yoga. So as part of this yoga, when yogis fix their life air in between the eyebrows, and with the strength of the yoga, if they meditate on Lord undeviated, then they will once you remember the Supreme Lord, and then while doing that, if they leave their body, then they will surely attain Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here, word by word, if you go, Prayana Kale is like when at the time of death, Manasa Chalena. So our undeviated, Chalanam is like undeviated without any deviation. Manasa is mind.
Bhakti. So Manasa Achalena.
Achalena.
Chala means chalna wala. Achal means na chalena.
Achal means
Manas,
it is undeviated. Yeah.
You see here, Achalena.
Achalena.
Yeah.
Bhaktya Yukto Yoga Balena Chaiva. So with the undeviated devotion, if it is engaged in devotion, and with the power of yoga Balena, with the Chaiva is certainly.
So yoga balena actually should come in front of Manasa Achalena. And with the yoga, you're able to control your mind. That's what it means.
Yeah. And then Bruvor Madhye. Bruvor is eyebrows, Madhye is in middle, and Pranam is the life air. Avesha Samyak is like if you completely focus there, and then Satam Satam Param Purusham Upaiti Divyam. So Param is, we know that it is transcendental. So Purusha is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he will surely attain Upaiti Divyam. So he will surely achieve Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Huh? So word to word translation. That's how we can learn. We can take help here, but it's very beautiful. Now, the important word which Prabhupada emphasized here is Bhaktya Yukto. Huh? So even if you're able to control your mind with the yoga practice, Yoga Balena, Manasa Achalena. So controlling mind is definitely not easy. And Arjun also accepts that in the 6th chapter. But he is saying Yoga Balena, if you've done it, but still what you have to do, Bhaktya Yukto. And Prabhupada writes here, in the purport first line, in the verse it's clearly stated at the time of death, the mind must be fixed in devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then other chakra and everything else is explained here. Thank you, Mataji. 8:11, Prasanatma Prabhu, would you like to do?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So the continuation of continuation of the process of Yoga Mishra Bhakta attaining the Supreme. So the translation goes like this: persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you the process by which one attains salvation. So here the qualities of who follows the Yoga Mishra Bhakti is given, I think. So if we say Yad Aksharam means who utters Omkara syllable. And Veda Vido, Vadanti, means one who knows the Vedas, a person who is conversant of Vedas. And Vishanti Yatayo. So Vishanti Yatayo is a sage who enters into renounce order.
Yeah.
Prabhu?
Yeah.
Enters into renounce order like Gita Raga. Ichanti Brahmacharya. So he follows celibacy. That person will attain the Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. Prabhu has broken each word. Very good. So how many sort of qualities are given for this one? So Yad Aksharams, he's chanting Omkar. He is Ved Vido. He is the knower of the Vedas. He is a Yati. Yati means sannyasi, actually. If you remember the word Yati means sannyasi, he says great sage. Vita Raga, his rag is gone. 4.10, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Huh? So Vita means gone, rag means the attachment is gone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Brahmacharyam Charanti. 5 qualities are given in this particular verse. All of them, you see, it's very difficult here. Huh? Very, very difficult to practice. So Prabhupada writes here. For example, unless one practice celibacy, advancement in spiritual life is very difficult. So that's why Lord Chaitanya has announced, according to scriptural injunctions, for this age, there is no other process of realizing Supreme except chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is most practical. Okay, 8:12. Divya Mataji, would you like to do that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I'll try, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, we initially started with the Sarvadvarani, which is all the doors of the body. This, so it's all the senses. So these senses act as a door, as a dwar. Then Samyam is controlling. So then Mano Hridi Niruddhya Cha. Hridi is the heart, but we're not talking about the biological heart here. It's the mind has to be situated in Hridi.
Hridi here refers to soul, basically.
Refers to the soul, yes. So it says when we close all the doors of the senses, when we fixate our mind on the heart, then one establishes himself in the yoga. That's the last line. Ashtita Yoga Dharmam. Ashtita is situated in, and Yoga Dharmam is the yogic situation.
Yeah. And the third line, it says Pranam. Again, life air.
Pranam. Yes.
So life air should go on Murdi Adhyatmanaha. So on the top of the head. So you have to sort of lift the chakra. I don't know how to do that, but that's what they say. Prana chakra has to come on the head. So they say the prana comes out from the head. The ideal yogis, they can break the skull and leave the prana from there. They go to the Brahman, basically. In the normal process, when the prana goes from the upper holes out, from the mouth or from nostrils, from eyes or from your ears, you go upwards like Sargaloka. If it goes from the down dwaras, then you go Adhogati, you go actually down. So that's what they consider. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Last one, 13, Jai Prakash Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. After being situated in this yoga, practiced and vibrating the sacred symbol Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So in this, I think, Ekaksharam, which we discussed, like it represents the Omkara Aksharam, which is also in one of the previous shlokas we have seen, Lord says he is the Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. So he is the Omkara, but although it represents more glorifying the impersonal aspect of the Lord, but it's still Krishna. And who practices, they will be vibrating the Omkara mantra, especially the people who are in the renounce order of life. They want to focus on Omkara, that way they want to enter into Brahman. And again, here, anyone who leaves his body, it has been mentioned that they'll also reach the Godhead, spiritual sky, as Prabhupada mentions the Brahma Jyoti. And also we talked about like Omkara, even though it glorifies impersonal aspect, Lord Krishna himself. But again, if we add the name to it, like say, as we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, it again glorifies the personal aspect of the Lord. Similarly, Om Namo Narayan, which is also like, similarly, we discussed Om Namah Shivaya. So in all the aspects, the Om represents the, so in all the Vedas, it starts with the Omkara, but in order for ones to achieve perfection, they need to like practice the Omkara with celibacy and a lot of restricted rules in Brahmacharya. But I think Prabhupada gives further explanation that one can chant Hare Krishna and they'll get the same benefit as chanting of the Omkara. And I've seen like there are a lot of slokas where Lord says he's a Omkara in chapter 11. So he also would like to be glorified as Omkara as well, because he's Jagat Abhyakt Rupinam. So he pervades this entire manifested form in the impersonal aspect as well, although it is still the root is Krishna. So it basically glorifies like both ways. Since we are discussing more on the Yoga Mishra Bhaktas, is giving another path like how the Yoga Mishra Bhaktas attain him by uttering Omkara.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Just wanted to add one thing. So as Jayaprakash Prabhu very nicely explained, Omkar is also Krishna, but it's an impersonal address to Krishna. It's like you calling Narendra Modi as Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister. Huh? So it's still addressed to him, but not very specific. And Narendra Modi's mother, I don't know what she calls Narendra Modi, but she may be calling Naru. Oh, Naru, come here. And Narendra Modi ji will be very, very happy to hear that address by his mother, because that's very personal, very intimate. So when Gopi is calling Krishna as Makhan Chor, that's much better address which Krishna feels, rather than say just saying Om, 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 which is again a valid address to Krishna. But Krishna likes that primary name much more than the secondary name. Anyone knows the difference between primary name and secondary names? So primary names are the names of Krishna or Lord which are related to his Leelas. Yashomati Nandan, Girdhar Gopal, Madan Gopal, Radha Gopinath, Radha Govind. They are all relating to his Leelas. And the secondary names are Bhagwan, Jagadishwar, Om, Sarv Jagat Vyapak. All these are also addressing to the Lord, but addressing in a very impersonal way. He is Jagdishwar, no doubt about it. But in Jagdishwar, he is also a Makhanchor. He's also Yashomati Nandan. He's Nandanandan. He's Gopal. So all these are very intimate names of Krishna. And when you call Krishna with these names, Krishna becomes very fast impressed with you. He pleased with you. That, oh, this person is remembering my Leela. And it says, when we remember Krishna with those names, we also get opportunity when we are cleansed with the contamination to enter into those particular pastimes. So that's the beauty of calling Krishna with those names. Okay, thank you, everyone. Let's move to today's discussion, starting from 8:40. So I'll just look at this MIHE guide quickly before we move. So far we have discussed Krishna's answer of Arjuna's question. The first section, second was remembering Krishna. And he gave a principle when you leave the body, what happens basically. And the third section, we're reading about Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Actually, one more point I wanted to add in 8:13, which I forgot. Mam Anusmar. See, Mam Anusmar. So this is that's why it's called Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So Bhakti has to be there. You cannot take. Previous verse also, and 8.9 also Anusmaredya was there. Mam Anusmar here as well given there. So this is called Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Okay. Now we are entering into a section, pure devotional service. How do people remember Krishna in pure devotional service? So there are 2 to 3 verses here. Let's look into it. 8:14. We have Bhakti Vijay Mataji.
Ananya Cheta Satatam.
Ananya Cheta Satatam.
Yo Mam Smarati Nityasaha.
Yo Mam Smrati Nityasaha.
Tasyaham Sulabha Partha.
Yaham Sulabha Partha.
nityayuktasya yoginah.
Nityayuktasya yoginah.
For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
Thank you, Mataji. So now this section starts with a very unique word, Ananya Cheta. Huh? So Ananya means, so Anya refers to other, Ananya means no other, exclusive. Huh? Exclusive to David Jones. You'll see sometimes on the bus, huh? Some brand, I don't know brand, but exclusive to David Jones. So Ananya Cheta. So Krishna is a very possessive God. He doesn't like, acha theek hai, you go to Ganesh ji as well, Durga ji as well, sometimes he come to me, chalega, kam se kam aa to raha hai. That's all right, but he's a very possessive lover. We use this word for the material word, but Krishna actually is the most possessive lover. He said, Ananya Cheta, I don't want you to love anyone else. You just love me. Huh? He's like that because he knows when you love me, you will be more satisfied. So Ananya Cheta, Ananya, exclusive Chitta, you give your Chitta to me. And how often do you give? Every Sunday when you go to temple, 4 to 9 p.m., you go to the Kirtan or Katha, Sunday feast program. Yes, Ananya Cheta, only for 4 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. Satatam, Satatam. And Anu word is also used like so many places in this chapter, huh? Constant, again and again. So Satatam, Satatam Ananya Cheta. You give your heart and soul to me all the time. No other relation is left. Gopis tell, Rupa Goswami tells by Gopis language, if you want to keep your mundane material attachments, don't go to the bank of Yamuna and look at this Tribhanga Sham Lalit. You should not look at this Krishna's three-bended form, because if you look at Krishna's three-bended form who's playing the Venu on the bank of Jamuna, you will forget all your attachments. So if you want to keep your attachment to your car, to your house, to your property, to your family, don't go to Yamuna. Huh? So it looks like Rupa Goswami is, saying something, don't do this, don't go to Krishna. But actually he's glorifying Krishna. He's glorifying Krishna. So he's saying, Ananya Cheta Satatam. Yo mam ismriti nityasha. So one who remembers me, Ananya Cheta, with exclusive devotion to me, Tatsyaham, to that, Tasya means to that person, Aham means me, Krishna is saying me, Sulabha Partha, to that person, I am very Sulabh. Now in India, you would have heard this word Sulabh. Anyone remembers? Sulabh Shauchalay. Easy way, huh? Even Rasanand Prabhu also knows. He's from South India. Probably doesn't know Hindi much, but Sulabh word, huh? Sulabh means easy. Now, anyone has ever heard or come across this word elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita? Anyone? There are many intelligent, scholarly devotees.
Mahatma Sudurlabha.
That's Sudurlabha. Sulabha. That's Sudurlabha. That is different word. That is. Huh? So this is the only verse in Bhagavad Gita which uses this word Sulabha. And what is it used for? Sulabha. Aham Sulabha. I am very easily obtained. Now you said the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kavim, Puranam, Rishashtaram, all the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Sulabha. How is Sulabha? Ananya Cheta Satatam. So one who give his chitta to me constantly, exclusively, I am very Sulabha. So this verse clearly explains the process of Bhakti Yoga. Huh? So if you follow the process of Bhakti Yoga, which is what? Actually, it's a very, very simple process. Very, very simple. What is the simplicity here? You just remember Krishna. How often do you remember Krishna? Satatam. And how much space you have to give Krishna in your heart? 100%, no less. Eventually, obviously, 100%. So if you do that, Tasyaham Sarvapata. So this is a very strong endorsement of Bhakti Yoga in Bhagavad Gita, which is given nowhere else for any other path. So Bhakti Yoga is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga is explained, Ashtanga Yoga is explained, Jnana Yoga is explained, but for no other yoga, Krishna endorses it. So he tells about it, he talks about it, that's fine. This is also a path, that is fine. But he endorses only one thing in Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Bhakti Yoga. So this is one of the verses which you can remember and sort of say what Prabhupada or Acharyas are saying. It's so true. Bhakti Marg, it's so easy. Now you can say Bhakti is also not easy. Remembering Krishna is also not easy. So no path in the material world is easy. Even to achieve something material, it's not easy. There's a verse in Hitopadesh. I can't remember the first word here. So everyone has to be achieved by hard work. Huh? It starts with Uddimedi siddhyanti karyani na manorathahi nahi saptasya singasya pravishanti mukhe mragaha. Uddimeni siddhyanti. So Udyam means hard work. Siddhyanti. If you want success, what do you have to do? Udyam. You want a job in the world, you want a house in the world, you want anything in the world, you have to work hard about it. Nothing comes for free. So Uddimeni siddhyanti karyani na manorathahi. So any perfection will not be achieved just by thinking in your mind. Manorat means man ka rath, chariot of mind. You think, I am the president of this country. You think, I am the president of the Swargloka. You think, I am the president of Brahmaloka. Does it work? You're not even president of your own house. Because if you order to yourself, get me a palak paneer sabji with the tandoori naan and then some nice salad on the side and maybe a cheesecake will be good. You tell it to yourself. Will it work? We wish. Nothing happens. Not even a fly comes around you fulfilling your order. Huh? So you have to go into the kitchen or call Mohit Prabhu or someone like him. Divya Mataji is there. Huh? Then they can prepare for you. But you have to do Udyam in this world. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So relatively speaking, bhakti is easier path. It's not like it's free. It's not free, but it's very easy. If you go for Ashtanga yoga, where you have to practice, brahmacharya, you have to put your life hair on the head, you have to put your life hair in the middle of the eyebrows. All those things we can't even imagine. We can't even imagine. We cannot sit idle for 30 seconds. What to speak of doing their whole life? So we can't do all those things. But Bhakti Yoga, remembering Krishna, and then Prabhupada has given such a simple process. You eat as much as you like, but eat only Krishna Prasad. You want to decorate yourself? No problem. You offer it to Krishna and you have nice clothes? No problem. You have a big house? No problem. You make your house as a temple. You want big cars? No problem. Use your car for the preaching. You have big money? No problem. You give it to Krishna or Krishna's devotee for Krishna conscious activities. So anything in the world, if you spiritualize, and if you have that capacity to do that, under the guidance, obviously, then you can have all these things and you can still be a big bhakta. And the example which comes to my mind is Ambarish Maharaj, emperor of the whole world, Prahlad Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, emperor of the whole world. They had all the money, they had all the beautiful queens, all the treasury of the world, people under their commands, everything they had. But they're also the biggest devotee of the Lord. So having possessions is no problem in Bhakti Yoga, but having possessions in another marga, suppose in Ashtanga Yoga, can you possess a house? First, I think I was listening some lecture, Radha Govind Maharaj or someone, he said the starting point in Jnana Yoga is you have to take sannyas. Now, how many sannyasis are in this call today? We can't take sannyas. Even on Ekadashi, taking sannyas from grain is difficult. Not sannyas from food. Sannyas from grain is difficult for one day. God Purnima is coming on Tuesday and people are already thinking about it. Till moonrise, I was giving class somewhere, can't remember. So some devotee said, is it noon or moon? I said moonrise. He said, Prabhu, is it noon? I said, no, noon, it's moon. Oh, moonrise till 7 p.m. So difficult, huh? Just one day fasting for few hours is so difficult. So the other paths are definitely very, very difficult, although they are valid, but definitely very difficult for a human being like us. So Bhakti Marg, and Krishna himself recommends it. Another verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna recommends, endorses Bhakti Marga. Anyone? Sabko pata hai. Everyone knows that verse. As soon as I will say, you'll say, oh yes. So this one verse, 8:14, you can remember in your memory. If someone asks you, argue about Bhakti Marga, Krishna is saying, and he didn't say this for Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, only for Bhakti. Bhakti Ananyacheta Satam, he's saying. Second verse is Sarva Dharmanu Parityaj Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. सब लोग अरे यार ये तो हमको पता है. So सर्व धर्मानु परित्यज माम एकम शरणम. What is this? Bhakti. मेरी शरण में आ जाओ ना. Leave everything and I'll protect you. So this is also Bhakti Yoga. So these two verses, very, very strong endorsement for Bhakti. No other process has been endorsed by Krishna. He's telling about it, he's talking about it, he's not endorsing it. Rasanand Prabhuji or Vijay Gopal Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, I have a quick question. Probably you explained it. In 13, it says Mam Anushmaranam. So that is also like here in this verse, take Mam Smrati. So both means remembrance, isn't it?
Yes,
So
but
how do
that
you
is
say one at Ashtanga Yoga, other at Bhakti?
yes. Here it
Because
says
of the Om?
yes, Prabhuji. So I'll just put that 13 as well. So if you look at the other parts of the verse, Prabhu, it says
Okay.
Om iti
Yeah,
aksharam brahma. Vyavharan. Vyavharan means vibrating. And
that is
Vishwa
in
Bhakti.
context to that. Okay.
Yes, context to that. And you can see other parts of it. But here is saying that very like the beginning word is Ananya Chetatam, Yo Mam Ismriti Nityasaha. There's nothing else. There's nothing else Krishna is explaining this. What is saying? You just exclusively remember me. That is bhakti. Simple, huh? So how do you exclusively remember Krishna? And that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to make our life in such a way so that we don't forget Krishna. That Vishnu Purana, Satatam Smrtya Vishnu, Vismratyo na jatuche. So we should remember Vishnu all the time and do not forget Vishnu ever. And that's what we're trying to do. By our eyes, we are putting paintings of Krishna around the house. We are putting Tulsi Rani in the house. We are putting altar in the house. In the car also, we have Jagannath in the car. We have Tilak, we have Tantimala. All this is to remind us we are the devotee of Krishna. And we are trying to increase the remembrance of Krishna again and again as much as possible. Okay, so this is a very, very nice and famous verse. Please read the purports of Srila Prabhupada. We can't read the whole purport of each verse, but I've been reading it's really nicely. Prabhupada is explaining these things. Okay, 8:15, another very, very popular verse. Okay, where I was, I'm lost. Mohit Prabhuji, you can probably do.
Sure, Prabhu. Mam upetya punarjanma.
Mam upetya punarjanma.
Dukhalema sashvatam.
Dukhalema sashvatam.
Napnuvanti mahatmana.
Napnuvanti mahatmana.
Samsiddhim paramam gata.
Samsiddhim paramam gata.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After attaining me, the great soul who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection.
Thank you, Prabhupada. So, Mam Upetya. So, if you take this 18:14, for example, so what was 18:14? The first one, Ananya Cheta Satam. So, if you remember me exclusively, what will happen? What was the result of that? Mam Upetya. So, if you remember Krishna Satatam all the time exclusively throughout your life, so what will happen? What's the result of that? Mam Upetya. You will achieve me. Mam Upetya. And then what will happen? Punarjanma na apnuvanti. So apnuvanti refers to achieving. Na apnuvanti will not achieve. What you will not achieve? Punarjanma na apnuvanti. So where you will not achieve the punarjanma? The adjectives given. Dukkhalaya shashvatam. Now every single Vaishnava will know these two words quoted in so many classes, lectures. Dukkhalaya shashvatam, dukkhalaya shashvatam, dukkhalaya shashvatam. So dukkhalaya means dukh ka alay. Alay means where a place where that thing, the prefix of that is being arranged very properly. Like we have Vidyalay. Vidyalay means where Vidya, education, is arranged very nicely. Dukhalay means Dukh ka alay. So here everything is very nicely arranged. What is nicely arranged here? We think it's Sukhalay. We think at least. The Sukha is arranged. But how often we get Sukha and how often we get Dukha? If you take the ratio of it, which is higher ratio? Pradhani Bhut Dukha. More than 50% will be Dukha. And people are laughing. It will not be a exaggeration to say more than 90% is Dukha, only 10%. And that also depends which phase of life we are going through. So it's predominant Dukha, but the way it's been arranged here, it looks like it's Sukhala, and that is called Maya. Maya means illusion. What is not, we feel that is very, very good. What is not good for us, we feel that is very good for us. And what is good for us, we feel that's not important. Going to temple, Hare Krishna temple, definitely not. Reading Bhagavad Gita, no way. So all these things we think are not important. They are the most important things of our life. Achieving money, achieving fame, achieving intelligence, proving ourselves with others. That is the most important thing. Then the whole community, whole society is practically running after these things. I was listening some lecture very nicely. This Prabhuji was explaining, we are all after success. Everyone want to be very successful in the life. No one want to become a failure in their life. And what is the success? Success is something which you get what you like. That's what Prabhu says. Huh? You get what you like. So I like a lot of name and fame. I get that. I like money. I get that. I like someone or some car or anything. I get that, and I like, yes, I'm successful. I win the cricket trophy, the World Cup, or whatever championship. So I feel like, yes, I'm successful because I've achieved that, because I liked it, I pursued it, and I got it. That's called success in the society. But that success does not always bring the happiness, isn't it? Huh? Many times the success brings you the most failures. There was a king in London. I went to London some time ago anyway. So you see that London Tower, everyone knows that London Tower. One devotee was telling me there, which I didn't know, obviously, that this London Tower is very, very famous. People come, but no one, practically hardly people know about it. What is this London Tower? So London Tower is the graveyard of the king and queen. Because when they became king and queen, the other surrounding people didn't like them. And one day they chopped off their head. Why did they chop off their head? Because he was the king, not me. So why is he the king? If he wasn't the king, his life would have been saved. Huh? So he says people are worried why I don't have the crown. But some people are worried because they have the crown. Their head will be out from their body any moment. Huh? So people think being in limelight is very, very nice, but it's very dangerous at the same time. If you are not a celebrity, no one will ask you. But if you are a celebrity, people will demand hafta from you. And the hafta works not in rupees, in crores. Do khoke, teen khoke. I don't know the current measurement of these khokha these days in crore or lakhs, whatever. Do khoke bhej dena. Are kyun bhej dena? Why? Just because you have a lot of money. So give a share to us as well. Huh? So it's not easy. So we run after these success, but the success not necessarily brings us happiness. So he says, what's the difference between success and happiness? Success means you get what you like, and the happiness means you like what you get. Huh? You like what you get. Whatever life offers you after an honest work, obviously. If life offers you something simple, that's fine. I'm happy with this one kurta. Huh? I'm happy with this little Maruti 800. I am happy with this small dwelling. I'm happy because Krishna is given me this very kindly. I get prasad, I don't get prasad. I'm happy either way. That is called happiness. So there's a huge difference. People want to be successful and be happy, but many times that's not the case. So rather you become happy. I think Gaur Gopal Prabhu was saying, it's not the happy people are grateful, it's the grateful people who are happy. Huh? So don't think I don't have a particular status in the societies, a particular thing in my life, particular person in my life. If I wish I had that person, I had that money, I had that position, I'll be so grateful. No, you'll never be grateful, actually. Huh? You want to become happy first and then be grateful. But if you want to become happy, what you have to do is start from great. You got whatever, a roof on top of your head. Thank you, Krishna. You got one chapati in your plate. Thank you, Krishna. You got one shirt in your cupboard. Thank you, Krishna. You can walk on your legs. Thank you, Krishna. Don't worry about the car. You have the legs. Many people don't even have legs. You can see. There's so many things we can thank Krishna every moment. And if you become thankful, you become grateful, you become happy. And it makes sense. It completely makes sense. Otherwise, Hiranyakashipu was also not happy. Why? All the Triloki, everyone was fulfilling the order of Hiranyakashipu. Only one little person, one little guy, a 5-year-old child. And he was not rebelling against Hiranyakashipu. All he was saying, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's all. He was not a bad boy, but he just didn't consider him as God. And that disturbed Hiranyakashipu like anything. Someone was saying he could have just let Prahlad continue his life and he would have continued his life. What was the problem? But no, he had a problem with Prahlad. Why this particular guy is not chanting my name? He's chanting Vishnu's name. That was his problem. He had everything else. So there's no limit. There's no limit to when we think we'll achieve and then become happy. No, you can become happy right now, today. And that's why I think His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj said very nicely, Bhakti is not resource dependent. It is desire dependent. Huh? I don't have a car, so how can I become a devotee? I don't have a house. I don't have PR. I don't have a good health. I don't have a good family. Blah, 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 blah. I don't have this. That's why I cannot practice devotion. So Maharaj said, no, Bhakti is desire dependent. Vasudeva was practicing Bhakti when he was in jail. Devaki was practicing Bhakti when her own children in front of her own eyes every year were getting murdered. In front of her own eyes. Huh? Her own baby's blood was coming on her face every year. She was still practicing Bhakti and was not complaining. And he did not complain to Krishna when the Krishna saw her first, when Krishna was 10-year-old. You are Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. You let your parents suffer in the jail even after your birth. How dare you? How bad you are, huh? We've been suffering in the jail. Devaki Vasudev never said that, never said that. And we think we have a right to say to, we have a right to complain to Gopinath. Gopinath, you know, kitna problem chal raha hai life mein? How many problems I'm facing? We have no right. If the Devaki and Vasudev did not complain, Ram never complained to Kaikeyi. Because of you, my father died. Because of you, I had to go to jungle. Because of you, you know, my wife was stolen. He never blamed Kaikeyi. He thanked Kaikeyi. Huh? So we should try to practice. Life is difficult, no doubt about it. We can try to practice. It's a special arrangement by Krishna for me. Tolerate, tolerate, tolerate as much as possible. And if you tolerate, Brahmaji says, you get the right to go back to Godhead. 10.14. Okay, I'll take some questions. Rasanan Prabhuji or Jacobi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Just wanted to share, Prabhu, like, you know, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he was telling how he came to Krishna conscious. So, like he was describing, he was the topper in one of the exams, and he was so happy that he was the topper. And then, like 2-3 years, like nobody succeeded his marks. But after the third year, like somebody.
Hare Krishna. I'll just add one line, Mataji. It's a beautiful example. So, not 2-3 years, Mataji. In the history of Maharashtra, no one has ever achieved those many marks. In the history of Maharashtra.
Yes, yes, bro.
He was the first one ever in the history of Maharashtra. Please continue.
Yes, bro. So then when the other person got it, I mean, he was so happy, like, you know, that time the topper of, you know, everything. But the next year, like somebody succeeded his mark, then his happiness has gone. So then he started thinking, then he went and, you know, worked for the children in the slums and all. But that did not give happiness. But the only happiness, then he was thinking, how I get the happiness? Then he came to Krishna conscious. You know, just I was thinking about the Asashwatam, even such a great person, like, you know, that happiness is just few minutes, whatever we are getting, and then it just vanishes. And then, so I just remembered this example.
Thank you. Very nice example. And we also try to become happy. Like for these successes, if we get a new car, you know, a new version of a mobile or something like that. Oh, I wish, and a whole mind will concentrate where the deal is going on, good deal is going on, where can I get $50 discount, blah, blah, blah. The whole concentration goes on that. It may be a small object or a bigger object, but our days and days just pass by to achieve that one object. We'll get it when we need it. Bhakti Dapur Maharaj said very nicely in one class, don't buy the objects and then put in the service of Krishna. If you need it for the service of Krishna, then only you should buy. I really like that particular example. And that's how we can make our life simple. My Guru Maharaj said, always he says, keep your life simple. If you are simple, then you have more time for Krishna. If your life is complex, you have very less time for Krishna. You're always stretching yourself. So keep it simple, and then you have a lot more time for Krishna. It just makes sense. Thank you, Mataji. Satyabhama Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just a question. I was thinking, where Krishna says, if you remember me exclusively throughout your life, and then you will achieve me, and Punarjanma will not happen. So, is there a way, like, you know, when we've been told that, you know, we had the desire and that's why we came here on this material world. So we all were there. So if a bhakta do all the, you know, overcome everything and then he achieves Krishna, is it always that, you know, he will be with Krishna, or that bhakta might have that desire come again in his mind, and is there a chance to come back to the material world, and then is this cycle keeps on going on and on? Or is there a way that, you know, a bhakta should pray in a way that even if he gets Krishna, he should never have that desire to come back to this material world and, you know, start that cycle again and again? How that happens, Prabhuji?
Nice question. It's one of those questions, you know, whose answer is not simple. But Prabhupada, what he said, I'll just repeat in this sort of situation. So Prabhupada said, technically speaking, Krishna will never take your desires away. Technically, like you will still, even if you go back to Vaikuntha or Goloka, wherever, Technically, you will still have your independence given by Krishna, and Krishna will never snatch it away from you, never. So what technically may happen is what you are explaining. So the cycle will go on and on. So you'll come to material world, you get over everything, you go back to the spiritual world, and then you decide, no, actually, I forgot to see that harbor bridge in Sydney. Krishna, bye-bye. I'm going to see the harbor bridge. And then you go back again after, few zillion, trillion lifetimes, and then you say, hang on a second, what about that Disney World in New York? Or wherever. Krishna, I'm sorry, so sorry. Let me go back. So technically, what you're saying is correct.
Oh.
Practically, Vishwanath Chakravarti explains, it will never happen. Practically. Once burnt, never shy. Huh? So once you are burnt, you have experienced the material world, the impressions in your mind in a subtle way, not in an exclusive way. Vishwanath Chakravarti explains it. You'll not remember what I was in Sydney. I was working for a bank or something like that. I was a mother or a father. I had a house, a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom, whatever. So you'll not remember the details, but you will have a subtle expression. Like a child who is in dream state, sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, and mama will say, or papa, so beta kya hua? What happened? Oh, it was a bad dream. The child may not recollect all the details, but the impression of that fear will still be there for next few hours or something. Huh? And you can practically witness that. So similarly, we'll have this subtle impression in your mind, material world. As soon as the word will come, you'll say, no, never again, never again. Huh? I had it. I had enough. And I'm sure there will be some things in your life or everyone's life where you will say, never again. I desired for it. Never again. Thank you, Krishna, for taking it away. Huh? So it's like that, Mataji. So our acharyas explain, Krishna explained, Yad Gatva na nivartante tad dham mama. Once you go there, you will never come back. So practically speaking, it will never happen again, because Krishna's love, you will experience a lot more. Like they say, the day which comes after night is more appreciated. The time which comes after a lot of miserable time is more appreciated. So you've already gone through so much misery. When you see the good time with Krishna and other devotees, you'll see fantastic Krishna. I have no unsatisfaction, no lacking in my heart anymore. I'm just happy with you. Please don't ever leave me alone. Huh? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the Manmohan Prabhu question, a scientific, intelligent question.
No, it's not. I've just heard, Prabhu, that dukkha is also one kind of flavor in this material world which people want to experience.
Yes, that's definitely true.
So is this something that they want to experience, that's why it is there? Or is it something to push us back to the spiritual world so that we can discriminate between sukha and dukkha, and then we understand that this is place of suffering?
Okay, a very nice question. As I guessed earlier, so dukkha is a flavor, that is true, Prabhuji. So you will read in Nectar of Devotion, probably not as a part of Bhakti Shastri course, but later you will see in, I think, around 40th or 50th chapter, I can't remember, because Bhakti Shastri only deals with the first 19 chapters. All these rasas are given. So there are primary rasas and secondary rasas. So there's a vibhats rasa, for example, there's a vir rasa. They're all secondary rasas. So yes, this rasa is also valid rasa. Krishna sometimes want to fight. And that's why the whole pastime Jai Vijay with Kumaras happened, because Krishna wanted to fight. Huh? It's a rasa. It's coming from Krishna. So yes, you're right in that sense, Prabhuji. It's a rasa. But devotees don't come here to experience that rasa. Devotees came here because they had some desire to enjoy, not to enjoy dukkha, to enjoy better sukha. At least that's a desire, huh? Which is obviously not valid, but it's a desire. Like your child may want to go out in a stormy night outside. Papa, bahar jana hai. And Papa's beta, it's so stormy night. Don't go out. It's dangerous for you. No, Papa, I have to go out. I have to go out. And finally, Papa will take all the umbrella and all the, jackets and everything, will go out and Papa, ghar chalna hai wapas, ho gaya. So sometimes children have this desire and Papa says, don't do that. But children don't listen sometimes. So Papa will let them experience a little bit, obviously, in a safe way as much as possible. And then children will say, Papa, ghar chalo. And then Papa will come back home just to, double confirm. Abhi aur jana hai ki ho gaya? Once they get hurt, nahi ho gaya. Now I don't want it anymore. Huh? So it's like that, Prabhu. So actually the children or us, naughty children like us, want to enjoy more. So the house settings are not good. That's what they think. Outside settings are very good. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Papa is saying, beta, nahi jao. So, but the desire is sukha. But when they go out, they feel dukha. And then they say, come back. And you can say in that sense, yes, they appreciate more. But they did not go out for dukkha's experience. They went out for sukha's experience. I'm happy with Krishna, but there's more happiness down there in the material world. Krishna is saying, really? Yes, Krishna, I want to experience that. You know, we are young, we need to explore, go out. So Krishna said, okay, no problem, go out, experience yourself and come back. Huh? But Krishna accompanies in our heart as Paramatma, always guiding us. We always ignore, mostly. Paramatma keh rahe hain, aisa mat karo. Nahi, it's all right, chalega. Okay, maro, karo jo karna hai karo, do whatever you want. And then finally we say, sorry, Krishna, it wasn't worth it. And we all have that experience. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Okay. So coming back to our original discussion, Dukhalem Shashna, I'll just explain a little bit more. So Dukhalem, so this is a word where Dukha has been arranged very nicely, and it is Ashashvatam. This is exactly opposite to what they shows in movies and novels. And they lived happily ever after. So no one lives happily, no one lives ever after. Huh? Everyone dies, everyone leaves. Every moment we are changing, every moment we are changing, and no one is happy. I was listening in class, and don't quote me here, I heard it's from Amog Leela Prabhu, and he named one celebrity, I didn't know about it, Shraddha Kapoor. So he said, you know, Shraddha Kapoor going in Mercedes car next to the Juhu beach, and she opens the window and she looks at some boys and girls, you know, having pani puri on the beach, and she's saying, "Kitne lucky hai yaar, kitne aaram se pani puri kha rahe hain." They are so lucky. They are eating pani puri on the beach in the fresh air. I can't do that. And jo beach pe pani puri kha rahe hain, the people who are eating pani puri at the beach, they are saying, Shraddha Kapoor, she's so lucky, yaar. She's so lucky. She did Mercedes, she got so much name, fame, and all that, blah, blah, blah. Huh? So everyone thinks the grass on the other side is greener. Everyone thinks everyone is happy in the temple except me. I'm the only miserable devotee. I'm the only miserable devotee. But if you ask someone else, you know, they may have actually bigger dukkhas than you, huh? It's because this whole world is designed, Bhakti Charu Maharaj very nicely explained. This world, we think, Mara said, we think this body is given, this body in the whole atmosphere, the settings are given to us to experience sukha. But sorry to say, this experience, the whole settings are given, this body plus the settings are given for you to experience dukkha. Mara said, we can't believe it because we are constantly aspiring for sukha, but we are constantly getting dukkha. So it clearly shows this word is dukhalem, it's not sukhalem, and ashashvatam. That is definitely true. Whatever you get, even sukha or dukha, passes by, is dukhalem shashvatam. Now, the important thing is when we use this verse, quoting different lectures and classes, many times we emphasize on this dukhalem shashvatam part a lot. But actually, if you look at the context of this verse, dukhalem shashvatam is just a side declaration. It's not like the crux of the verse. Huh? Just not the crux of the verse. Crux of the verse is Mam upetya mahatmanah na apnuvanti punarjanma. That's the crux of the verse. The crux of the verse is not dukhalem shashvatam. The crux is leave this place and come to me. That's the crux. And when we say dukhalem shashvatam as the crux of the verse, what you are saying, we are actually defining this word more than going out of the word. Example is you are in a jail, or you go and meet with your friend in a jail, whatever, and you don't define how bad the jail is, how bad the hospital is. Sorry, one works in a hospital. Many dukhi people come there. Any sukhi people come to the hospital? No sukhi people, no happy people goes to the hospital, except the doctors. Even doctors feel miserable. Every day you sun ke pak jate. Every patient is coming with so much, you know, dukha. Arey yaar, tell me something nice as well. But it's obvious you're going to hospital. So hospital is not a place where people share some nice things, huh? Hardly, maybe sometimes nurses or doctors with each other, but mostly it's a place of dukkha. Jail is a place of dukkha. Huh? So you don't have to sort of identify jail with dukkha. Yes, it is obviously it's a dukkha, but the main crux of the jail will be what? How to get out of the jail, how to get out of the hospital, isn't it? So we giving the adjectives to the jail or hospital as Dukkhale Shashvatam for this word, but that's not the crux. What is the crux here? Mam upetya punarjanma napnuvanti. The crux should be remembered. So what should be our motive? Not to just blame and blast this word. How bad is this word? How many problems are there in the word? How many miseries Krishna has created? If you say it again and again and again, will your problem be resolved? No. Your problem will be resolved with what? With one focus in the mind. How can I get in the jail, right? How can I be in the jail? You go to the sadhu. No, the crux should be, how can I get out of the jail? People go to the sadhus. Sadhu Maharaj, can you give me blessings? My son should pass the exam. I should get a better job. Basically, what are you asking? Anyone realizes that? You're asking sadhu, how can I stay longer in the jail? Comfortably longer in the jail, isn't it? The sadhu can give you blessing to get out of the jail. Once Prabhupada was traveling in a train and one big businessman came to know, was traveling the same train. That's Prabhupada is in the train. So he, came from his bogie to Prabhupada. Bogie, he said next to Prabhupada, he said, Prabhupada, give me blessings, give me blessings. So Prabhupada said, what sort of blessings do you need? I can give you these blessings. he rolled his head on top of his shaved head. He said, I can give you these blessings. And as soon as he saw that, he said, Swamiji, mera station aa gaya. My station has come. I will see you later. So as soon as sadhus are trying to give you some spiritual blessings, you don't like that sadhu. You like the sadhu who can give you blessings for more wealth, more name, fame, your family, your health, everything should be nice. But just imagine a situation. You're literally asking sadhu, how can I live more comfortably in the jail for longer time? Is that a nice blessing? What you should be asking the sadhu? Hey, Sadhu Maharaj, how can I get out? I had enough miserable life. I don't want it anymore. Please tell me a way. Please bless me with these spiritual desires. So when we go to our spiritual master, when we go to Radha Gopinath temple, we go to in front of Prabhupada, what should we be asking? Not how to resolve our problems. Now that can be discussed if the problem is very prominent and your spiritual life is getting hindered by that. But that should not be the main prayer. What should be the main prayer? Mam upetya punarjanma na apnuvanti. That should be the main prayer. Krishna, please inspire in my heart. How can I become a good devotee? How can I serve my guru? How can I serve Prabhupada? How can I serve this movement? How can I serve all the devotees, Vaishnavas, whole Vaishnava community in a nice way, in a decent way, so that I become like what you desire me to become, rather than asking unlimited problems. And Krishna, can you please resolve number 1 and number 2 are extremely important, has to be resolved in this week. Next 3 problem, you can resolve in next 3 months, that's fine. And I wish if you can resolve these iPhone 16 and a new Tesla and a 2-story 6-bedroom house. Just a wish list, just a wish list. If you don't have to do it, but maybe you can do it next year. This doesn't make any sense, actually. It doesn't make any sense. So the Khalyam Shashvatam is not a crux of the verse. The crux of the verse is how to get out of the jail. Rupam Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So I'm just wondering, as we discuss about the spiritual abode where we all were once upon a time in time memorial. Oh, what was the need to create this whole material creation? If there was no material creation, the come and enjoy wouldn't have been there.
Okay.
We all would have,
Yeah, it's an eternal question, Prabhuji. I'll keep it short, Prabhu, because it's very different discussion altogether. I'll keep it short. Suppose your son or daughter, want to play out. He had enough. Chote se ghar mein, it's a small house. I've been playing for so long. Papa, I want a big football field, for example. So if you love your child, for example, you will create that field for your child. Although you will not recommend to go out in the field and play alone, right? So Krishna, to respect our independence, which he has only given, we want to play. Now, what we want to play? Prabhupada said, we want to play God. Now, how do you understand that? Suppose a boy or a girl want to become a Spider-Man, so mama buys him or her a Spider-Man suit, so he feels, or she, I'm a Spider-Man. You cannot fly, but she feels like that, I'm a Spider-Man. And now she says, Mama, I want to jump from the 13th story building. And Mama said, Dimag kharab ho gaya hai. He gone mad. No, Mama, I'm a Spider-Man. I can jump. Beta, you cannot jump. You are looking like a Spider-Man. It doesn't mean you have the qualification to be this funny character Spider-Man. Mama, I definitely want to jump, definitely. And she cries and rolls her whole body on the street, especially when you're in the supermarket. Anyone experience that? बच्चे जमीन पे लौट जाते हैं. They start rolling. Mama, चाहिए. I want it. They want it so desperately. You become embarrassed. Everyone is looking at me, you know. So what Mama does, she creates a sort of duplicate 13-story building. She buys you something which looks like a 13-story, and Mama says, now you can jump. That may be like only 13 centimeter tall or something. And then the boy or girl is very happy jumping from that, thinking I am jumping from 13-story building. So that means I want to play God. Prabhupada said, you want to play God? You cannot play God in a spiritual world. You have to create another world where you feel you are God. Means you are the controller, you are the supreme, everyone worships you. Why all the gopis are going after Krishna? Why not after me? Prabhupada said, the problem is not you having, Krishna having 16,000 gopis. You don't have any gopis. Prabhupada said that. That's the problem. So if you want to play God, you want to replace God, you cannot be in the spiritual world. But Krishna respects your desires. So to fulfill your this fake desire, this undesirable desire, he creates a fake world where you can become a fake God. And that's where the journey starts. Is that okay? Because you cannot be, there's only one God in the spiritual world, which is Krishna. Everyone is worshipping Krishna. No one will worship you there. They will respect you, but not worship you. But if you want to be worshipped or replace God, become a substitute God, but you will feel like, yes, I am the center of the universe. What's this Russia's prime minister or president? Whatever. Putin, Probably, you must be thinking, I am the God. How dare these people are pressing my buttons? I will destroy the whole world. Hitler. I will destroy the whole world. Hiranyaksh. Not only destroy the world, he actually took the earth and threw him in the Rasatal, threw the earth in the Rasatal. So these are called fake gods. You want to play God? You have to come here. So Krishna, out of the respect for his loving children, created this fake world where you can sort of feel that you are God. You can fulfill all your desires. And then once you are done, beta, come back to me. But Krishna is so kind. Jante hain, he knows you will not be happy. So he gives sadhus, he gives shastra, he gives. Otherwise, you will say, dump, jao, maro jaake, jo karna hai. Do whatever you like. Sometimes we say to our kids, we get too much fed up and say, jo karna hai karo. Got nothing to do with you. But after half an hour, you'll think, kya kar raha hai? What is she doing? Because you love your baby. Is that okay?
So, bro, are you saying that we were envious of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan itself? And
okay. I will not discuss that question, Prabhuji, in this. We're just discussing a very different topic. We can keep it simple. And Prabhupada did the same thing. It's not I'm cutting short here. Prabhupada and all the Maharaj, it's very different discussion. How did it happen? How the jiva fell down. We have to go a lot more contextual settings before we can answer a question. It's not simple answer, Prabhuji. Yeah. Okay, Prasanna Atma Prabhu, if not related to envy of Krishna.
No, I was just thinking similar thing, but we say that no, Prabhu, when you are in the bhava stage, there is a chance that you can fall down. But once you enter spiritual world, you are already in prema stage. So I was just thinking how we fall in again. That's what. Just add it out. Because Bharat Maharaj, that example comes. He was still in bhava stage and he fell down. So, but once he reached, someone told me that if you reach prema, you will not fall down. So once you
prema is higher than bhava, Prabhu. Prema is higher than bhava. So what's the question?
Yeah, prema. No, my question is, so once if you reach spiritual world or whoever jiva is there in the spiritual world, they are in the prema stage.
Yes.
So how they will fall down? That's the doubt I have.
I will skip that question, Prabhu, with all due respect. Just you can say a simple words which Prabhupada says, desire to enjoy independently of Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of different discussion. We cannot even finish in whole one day. Not what to speak of giving an answer in 3 minutes, Prabhuji. So it's a whole process which works there. And we cannot just understand in one word. Yeah, okay. Analog or digital, 0 or 1. And that's why.
Yeah, even I heard like, so many versions of that.
Yes.
Like some say we didn't fall from Goloka, and all the different things are there. Two groups.
Not two groups, only multiple groups, multiple opinions are there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
so,
not a day to discuss that question.
Okay, bro. Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So, okay. One more word which I wanted to emphasize, Mahatmana. So one who achieve Krishna, they are Mahatmana. So if you are not a Mahatmana, you cannot achieve Krishna. Anyone else remember a verse in Bhagavad Gita, very famous, which uses the word Mahatmana?
Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Ashram.
This is 9:13. Another verse which Vijay Gopi
Mahat-
Mata. Huh? Wait, Prabhuji, please go on.
Sam-
7:19. Varuna Janamante Gyanavan Mahaprabhute. Vasudeva Sarvati Sam Mahatma Sudurlabha. So Mahatma word is used at few places of Bhagavad Gita, which is a great, great soul. Okay, let's move to the next one, 8:16. Who hasn't read as yet? Vijay Gopi Mataji, would you like to do one?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
A verse to remember, Rupam Prabhu.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, this is a verse to remember.
Verse to remember, okay.
Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Thank you, Mata.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So now, after discussing remembrance of Krishna in pure devotion, now Krishna is going to do some comparison between material world and the spiritual world. And so that Jivas can get, Bhurijan Prabhu writes in his commentary, in his book, on these verses, he says, so that Jiva can develop some detachment. Like in the previous verse, we read one term, Dukhalyam Shashtam, everything is temporary here and basically primarily designed to give us dukha. But Jivas are in so much illusion, they don't agree with that. So their intellect may understand it, but mind doesn't understand. Intellect means intellectually actually eventually everything is dukkha, but mind says, but dukkha will come tomorrow. Today I can enjoy. Tomorrow will come tomorrow. Today is today. Why don't you enjoy today? It happens. I'm being very honest. It happens with me. So mind starts, sort of tempting you. Today I can enjoy, or right now in this phase of my life, I can ignore my devotional services, and later I will become a serious devotee. And this later never comes, because every moment you will feel so urgency to fulfill other needs of life that you will sort of ignore, or just do whatever is minimal needed. Like Prabhupada says, 16 rounds minimum. He did not say 16 rounds only. He said 16 rounds minimum. Most of the time, if not all the time, we do that minimum, and not exceed. And once we have done, ho gaya, aaj ka ho gaya, today's quota is done. Thank you, Krishna. Now you'll put the bead bag and see you tomorrow. That's not the idea. The idea is very different. You remember Krishna all the time. So now Krishna is going to give you a series of verses where he will give some qualification, or you can say qualification in quotes, of the material world, so that Jivas can develop some detachment and get aspiration. Actually, this place is not worth living. Prabhupada said in one class, this place is not worth living for gentleman or gentle lady. If you're a gentleman or gentle lady, this place is not for you. Now, one gentle lady asked this question to Prabhupada, but Prabhupada was saying this world is like a bathroom. You should not go there. If you're a good person, you should not go there. This lady said, but Prabhupada, jana to padta hai na, but you have to go to bathroom. So Prabhupada said, yes, you can go to bathroom, but if you are intelligent, you don't stay up in the bathroom. You go do the business and come out. Someone goes to bathroom, to take bath or whatever, half an hour ho gaya, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, and Mama beta kya hua? Mama, I like this bathroom so much. Mama, beta, come out. You have your own toy room, you have your own bedroom, you have your study room. Come out. No, Mama, I like the bathroom the most. Really? You'll be surprised. So a gentleman, devotees will get surprised. Narad Muni gets surprised how the Jivas can forget Krishna and go after this mundane, small, insignificant enjoyment of this material world. He gets surprised. Now, we don't understand it, but he gets surprised. Our enjoyment, our aspirations, but we go after that. And once we achieve it, we feel like, yes, we are successful. We are successful. So Krishna is explaining the series of verses. Very nice. Brahma Bhuvna Loka. So Brahma Loka. Sometimes why Brahmaloka example is given? Because in this material world, what's the highest planet? Is the Brahmaloka. To achieve the Brahmaloka is, you can say, can be the biggest achievement, at least in terms of the planetary systems. So Krishna is saying, even if you achieve it, what happens? Punar avartino Arjun. Even if you achieve the highest planet, which is Brahmaloka, punar avartino. Avartino means again ana. You have to come back again. But if you mamopetya, if you come back to me, punarjan na vidyate. Na vidyate. Na word is emphasized here. Any other verse of Bhagavad Gita where it says na vidyate, punarjan na vidyate, or similar to it? 4.9. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojana. That verse is also there. So Krishna is saying, Mamupet, if you achieve me, punarjanma na vidyate. But, and you can have opposite of this line. If you don't achieve Krishna, what will happen? Only first line. What is that first line? No matter where you go in the material world, you go to Sargloka, Indraloka, Chandraloka, Suryaloka, Varudloka, Brahmaloka, no matter where you go, the miseries will always follow you, because this is the nature of material world. It is Dukhalayam Shashvatam. Krishna did not say Dukhalayam Shashvatam only for Prithvi Loka. Did Krishna say that? He says for the material world. So Prabhupada was once in Switzerland. So one of his disciples was taking Prabhupada for some sort of a retreat center. Not for a retreat there, obviously, so that Prabhupada can relax. So Prabhupada said to his disciple, where are you taking me? He said, Prabhupada, I'm taking you to this retreat center. People from the world, very rich people come here for relax. Prabhupada went there and he saw all around is snow, and everywhere is snow. And Prabhupada said, where are the trees? Where is the sun? You call it a relaxing place? Prabhupada said, this is not relaxing. And then he quoted this famous line of Prabhupada. In the material world, every place, there's a suffering in different form. There's a suffering in different forms. So we feel, Sydney weather is not good, so we go to Brisbane weather. Brisbane will be there suffering in another form. America weather is better, or America job is better. There will be suffering in another form. There has to be suffering, maybe another form. Some things may be missing, some things will be added. My Guru Maharaj says always this line, very nice. He says, you win something and you lose something. I love this. You cannot just win. If you have won something, you would have lost something. If you have become a doctor, for example, you have studied for 18 years, isn't it, Prabhuji? 18 years of hard work. And Manwan Prabhu was saying, I don't want to study anymore. So you win something, you lose something. If you win a space somewhere, someone has lost that space. If you have eaten 4 chapatis, if you have taken someone else's quota, someone has lost 2 chapatis. So this world, that's why in Ishopanishad we will see everyone's quota is fixed and you should not take anyone else's quota. Whatever Krishna has allocated in your account, by honest means, whatever we earn, that's enough. Prabhupada says 6 to 8 hours of work and that's it. The rest of the time you dedicate for Krishna. Whatever has come, $2, $10, $200, whatever has come, you just be happy and satisfied. And tomorrow, Krishna will give you whatever is necessary. Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhuji said very nicely, he said, Krishna is my bank. I deposit all my money, everything in Krishna's bank. And whenever I need, I withdraw. I just ask Krishna, Krishna, can you give me for this project? And if Krishna desires, he'll give me. If he doesn't desire, he doesn't give me. So nice, just relying on Krishna. It's so relaxing, so comforting, because we take all the ownership on our head. This money should be put here, that money should be put there, and this is here. That is so much discomfort. Ghanshyam Prabhu was saying once in a class somewhere, thank God we are not God. Thank God we are not God. We don't have to take all the problems of the world in our head. We are just a simple people. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Be happy. Jo bhi hai, chalega. Whatever is there. One thing should not be missed out. Our devotional service to the Lord in Vaishnavas. That's it. Rest everything. Gauranga Prabhu says, just do whatever is minimal needed. Whatever is minimal. There are other things needed in the life. You do that. No problem. Just do the minimal. Aupcharikta matra. In Hindi recorded. Aupcharikta means formality. Just do the formality. Uninvited guest has come. What do you have to do? You still attend to it. Oh, please come, have a seat, give him a glass of water, say some nice words, but you don't have to get involved with him so much. So, Brahmavna Loka, misery is in another form. So don't think if I go to Brahma Loka, I'll be living an eternal life with Brahmaji and very happy life. Even Brahma is not eternal. Brahmaji says to Hiranyakashipu, I am not immortal. How can I give you the immortality? Okay. Baldev Vidyabhushan quotes this similar verse. I'll just read the translation. I was reading this commentary before. When there is a devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe, to the specific spiritual planets according to their desires. So if you are a devotee in Brahmaloka, definitely you'll be transferred. But that applies on Prithviloka as well. If you are a devotee in Prithviloka, you'll be transferred. If you're a devotee in Brahmaloka, you'll be transferred. But if you are not a devotee in Prithviloka or in Brahmaloka, you will not be transferred. Transfer not sanctioned for those people. Okay, that's 217. Now he's describing a little bit more about Brahma's loka. Jamati Mataji, would you like to do?
Yes, Prabhu. I think Prasanna Atma Prabhu has
His
some
hand
question.
says his previous question, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's fine. Okay. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam
Sahasra Yuga Paryantam
Aharyut Brahmano Vidu
Aharyat Brahmano Viduhu
Ratrim Yuga Sahastrantam
Ratri Yuga Sahastrantam
Te Ahoratra Vidu Janaha.
Te Ahoratra Vidu Janaha.
By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So now he's describing what's the life like in Brahmaloka. So Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Sahasra refers to the 1,000, Yuga refers to the Yuga, Paryantam. So 1,000 yugas together form what? Ahar Yat Brahmano Vidu. So Ahar refers to the day. So Aha is the word day. You can read in Prabhupada's synonyms. Brahmano Vidu. So in Brahmaloka, one day comprises of 1,000 yugas. We'll read what those yugas are. I'm just translating the verse. Ratrim Yug Sahasram. And same amount of time is also in the night. So Ratri is the night. Yuga is Yuga. Sahasram is 1,000. Te Ahoratra Vidojana. So this is Vidojana, the intelligent people talk about it. So what is this? I'll just give one diagram here, and I'll share this diagram. It's very nice, very simply they have explained the concept here. So when we're talking about 1,000 yugas, so let's start from here. So that's also called a kalpa. So you can see one kalpa or a day of Brahma that includes 14 manvantars and 15 sandhyas. I'll explain every term in a minute. I'll just explain on a high level and then go in detail. So one kalpa you can see, which is the day of Brahma, is that big. Now you just take one part of it, 14 manvantara, you take one manvantara, which is 71 Divya Yugas. What is this Divya Yuga? Divya Yuga is comprising of 4 yugas. So we have a cycle of Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. So these 4 yugas, which you can say a unit of time, Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, and Satyuga, they comprises one Divya Yuga, and those 1,000 Divya Yugas form one day of Brahma. Day, when I say 12 hours day. And the night will also have the same time of 1,000 yugas. Is this diagram sort of a little clear? So we go from one cycle, one Divya Yuga, to create 1,000 Divya Yugas, and that will create one day of Brahma. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantars. There are 14 Manus who come and take charge at different times. Each Manu's timeline, you can say, is around 71 Divya Yugas, 71.23 or something Divya Yugas, and 14 Manus like that. And in each Manu, there are different Indras, different people will become Indra, like current Indra's name. Anyone knows current Indra's name? So Indra is a post. I'm sure everyone knows. Mohit Prabhu?
Purandar.
Purandar, thank you. Purandar is the current, he's the youngest son, second youngest son of Kashyap and Aditi. So current Indra is Purandar. Surya is Vivaswan. Chandra is Soma. So all these are posts. Chandra is a post, Surya is a post, and the names are also given. Similarly, Saptarshis, we know Saptarshis also keep changing. So each Manvantar, all these personalities will change. So in a day of Brahma, there are 14 Indras will be there, 14 Chandras, 14 Suryas, every Manvantar, there will be some different personality. So when we talk about Swarg Loka, the only time they have is there for one Manvantar. That's it. After 1 month, Swarg Loka people has to leave. All the posts have to be vacated and next person will come. Next person, like here we have, I'm not sure here in India, we have, 5 साल की सरकार, 5-year government. If they last 5 years, they hardly last, but 5-year government. So similarly, in Swargloka, they have this 1 Manvantar government, and after that, they change. So each yugas, I'm just going in each yugas now. So Kali Yuga is 432. I'll explain that in a second. Dwapar means Dwa, you can say 2, twice of this, 864. Treta is 3, 432 into 3 is 1296, and Satyuga is 4 of the Kali Yuga. So if you take one Kali Yuga as KY, 1 KY, 2 KY, 3 KY, and 4 KY equals to 10 KY. Is that okay? So 1 Divya Yuga equals to 10 KY. So how will be 1 Divya Yuga? How many years will be? 432 K into 10. So 4.32 million K years is 1 Divya Yuga. And how much will be 1 day of Brahma? 1000 of those. So 432 is like, you can say, a basic figure which goes everywhere. Just to explain that, I've got another diagram which I'll share with you guys. So the Kali Yuga, you can say, as per human calculation, is 360,000 years. So, and Sandhya, what is Sandhya? Sandhya is when one yuga changes to another yuga, there's a sort of overlap. And you can see that in this diagram as well. You see, so this is like the primary division, but there's a small portion here, which is like the Sandhya. Sandhya is changing time. When the sun is setting, we call that Sandhya. Ratri has not come, night has not come, but day is still sort of going. So that's called Sandhya. So there's a Sandhya of Kali Yuga in the starting and Sandhya of Kali Yuga at the end. Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga at the end, Sandhya of Dwapar Yuga in the beginning. So each will have Sandhya, 2 Sandhyas, one for the beginning, one for the post and pre. So you can see Sandhya of Kali Yuga, so 360,000 is 36,000 pre-Sandhya, you can say, and post-Sandhya will be 36. So Kali Yuga, that's how 432,000 years. Okay. So 360 is a figure which even humans use. 360 days of the year. Brahmaji also have this 360 figure in that. So Dwapar Yuga, just double it, 360 into 2, 720. So Sandhyas will also be doubled, basically, 72, 72. So Dwapar is total 864,000. Similar goes for Treta and Krita. Krita is refers to Satyuga. So Satya Krita Yatahate Vishnu, Tretayam is Domakai. So there's a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, I think it's 12.3 or 12.5. Krita refers to Satyuga. So all this, if you combine together, 4320 and 000. So this is 10 KY, you can say. So 1 Divya Yuga equals to 10 KY. If you come back here, so what will be the amount of KYs in 1 day of Brahma? So 10 KY into 1000. So easy. If there was a whiteboard, I could explain actually, but it's very easy calculation. You don't have to remember all that for the exam, but it's just to explain these verses we are saying. So 1 day of Brahma, similar amount of the time will be spent in the night of Brahma as well. And this sort of day and night, this is 1 day and night, that will be 1 month of Brahma, which is 30 days. There will be 1 year of Brahma, which is 12 months. And there will be 100 years of Brahma. So 100 such years makes the 1 lifetime of Brahma. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, I'll just read that. As per this calculation, Brahmaji lives by earth calculation 311 trillion and 40 billion earth years. Unimaginable lifetime for us. But Prabhupada writes, by these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable, but from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. In the casual ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. So you can understand, although Brahmaji's life seems very, very big, but in terms of human years only, in terms of eternity, it's like a flash. Bubbles come and bubbles go. So when Mahavishnu breathes out, all the bubbles come. You would have seen that picture. And when Mahavishnu breathes in, all the Brahmajis goes in, all the whole universes goes in, actually. This very, very flash of moment Prabhupada compares with the bubbles in the Atlantic Ocean. So there's some verses, we'll just explain the same concept. We'll just do it together. 8:18. Who has Tanya Mataji, would you like to do one?
Sorry, Prabhu, can you explain that Sandhya concept again?
Yes, Prabhuji. So Sandhya concept is, Prabhu, when a yuga is changing. So when you are shifting to a new class, for example, so there will be some Kali Yuga effect and some Satyuga effect, for example. So that's called Sandhya. When Kali Yuga presence still there, but the next yuga has not come yet. Transition stage, you can say, Prabhuji. When you go from here to India, in Singapore, you have a 2-hour flight change. Huh? So you're still on way to India, but 2 hours in Malaysia or wherever you halt. Huh? That's called Sandhya, overlap between this yuga and that yuga. So in the post of Kali Yuga, for example, some Kali Yuga tendencies will still be present. And then if Satyuga is starting, for example, Satyuga's tendency, not 100% will be present here. And then the full Satyuga will start from this point onwards.
So that's why you have twice 36,000 years.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. So there's a pre and post. There's always pre and post. Huh? So you'll see from when Dwapar Yuga, for example, the transition is happening. So the tendencies of Dwapar Yuga is going down, 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 down. So there's a period where Dwapar is not gone as yet, but still the tendencies of Dwapar is still there. But then you'll see Kali Yuga tendencies are starting. So that period is called Sandhya. I'll share these 2 diagrams with all of you after the class.
Thank you.
8:17. Sorry, 8:17 we have done, right? No, we haven't done it. Tanya Mataji, would you like to do one? Oh, just 1 second.
Prabhuji, we just did 8:17.
We have to do 8.
Okay. Thank 1 verse less. Manmohan Prabhu, you have question on 8:17?
Yes, Prabhu. Just
Yes,
a
please.
question. The yugas apply to Mandala and the
Sorry,
Swargalok
Prabhu, your
and like
voice
all the
is not
14
very
planetary
clear.
systems.
Can you start again, Prabhu? Your voice is very flaky.
Sorry, Prabhu. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
I'm just saying, Prabhu, the yuga is applicable to all the 14 planetary systems, or it's only for Bhumandala?
Yes, applicable to all. But because the time scales are different, so in Brahmaloka, Kali Yuga will not be felt. But the same Kali Yuga in Patal Loka will be felt for a long time. And that's why they say when you are punished, not you, a person is punished in Patal Loka, the time seems like, infinite. Actually, it's not infinite, it's just expanded. So you can see this diagram, Prabhu, how it's expanding. So from top to bottom, if you take the hierarchy, so Brahmaloka, Kali Yuga comes for not even a second, I can't call it second. It comes and goes. Huh? So there's no practical impact on it. But if you go down, say Prithvi Loka, you can feel the Satyuga as well as Kali Yuga. But if you go down, 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 it just expands so much. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next one. 18.
Avyakta Vyaktaya Sarva
Avyaktavyaktabhyah sarvah
Prabhavanti Ahar Agami
Prabhavanti ahar agame
Ratre Agame Pralayante Praliyante
Ratriagme praliyante
Tatre Vyakta Samagnyate.
Tatraiv avyakta sangyake. Not the easy verse, huh?
No. Our translation. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again.
Thank you, Mataji. So it says avyakta. So avyakta refers to unmanifest. Vyakta refers to manifest. Sarvaha, all the jivas. Now, who are all these jivas? Who want to play God. So all the jivas just not refers to, all the living entities. It refers to, say, conditioned entity. Huh? So all these conditioned entity who want to play God based on their, desires and deserving and all that. From avyakta, from unmanifest, they become manifest. Prabhavanti ahar agme. Prabhavanti means uday. They take birth. Ahar refers to the daytime. Agme. When the daytime comes, all these living entities become manifest from unmanifest. Huh? Ratri agme. When the Ratri comes of Brahma, Ratri here refers to Brahma's night. Praliyante, pralaya kal, as we say. Praliyante refers to annihilation. All gets annihilated. Tatra avyak and become annihilated again, become unmanifest again. So I'll just go back to this diagram. So when the day of Brahma comes, you can see from this line to that line, all the jivas who want to play God, they come in the body of an Indra or Brahma, or they become an ant or a worm in the stool, whatever they deserve. They deserve. And when they come, they play and they take births again. And once the night of Brahma comes, they stop playing. Huh? Night may no play. I know in the cricket, they have this night play. What do you call? I don't know what you call that. Floodlight they call it. Huh?
Day and night.
Day and night play, huh? Day and night play. So Brahmaji doesn't allow that. Only day play. Daytime we play, nighttime we sleep. Only humans do all this nonsense. Night may be kaam karna hai. Night may be this. Everything goes in night. Anyway, so Brahmaji says only play time in the day. So daytime, bache log play, play, play. What do you want to become? Spider-Man, Batman, He-Man, She-Man. You become, you play. Tired, you sleep in the night, huh? So that's what verse is explaining, huh? When the day come, all the living entity become manifest from unmanifest, and the night come, become unmanifest again. So they go back to sort of sleep. Next, 8:19. Who hasn't done as yet? Rupam Prabhu, you want to do?
Yes, bro. Bhutagramah saha evayam.
Bhutagrama sa evayam.
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Ratre agame vashvaha prartha.
Ratri agame avashah partha.
Prabhavati ahar agame.
Prabhavati ahar agame.
Translation. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Hare Krishna.
Similar sort of concept, which we are in Bhutagrama. So Bhutgrama refers to Bhuta, refers to living entity. Grama refers to the aggregate of living entities, the group of living entities. All these group of living entities who want to play God. Evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate. Again, bhutva bhutva refers to again and again. Praliyate. They get annihilated again and again. When Ratri Agame, when Ratri of Brahma comes, they get annihilated again and again. How? Avashaha. So this word is very important. Avasha. Many times people say, where is God? Where is God? I want to see God. I'll see whatever happens. What you will see. We are all helpless. And how can you understand? Shipalal Prabhu was giving class, very nice. He explained, if you really want to see the Prakriti, the nature, you go in front of a vast ocean and stand on a rock or some hilly area and look at the ocean. How insignificant you feel. How insignificant. Now you can just imagine. The ocean is very, very nice. But Prabhupada said, ocean is only nice from the far. When you go inside the ocean, it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Huh? You may be a best swimmer, Prabhupada said, but you cannot cross the Atlantic Ocean, no matter how best swimmer you are, because ocean is very dangerous. And we see this tsunami, for example, just one example. When the nature turns its face, it's very bad. Corona, invisible living entity, shook the whole world for 2.5 years. Still, some remnants are there in different parts of the world. Airlines are restricting few things here and there. So it's not fun. It's not fun when the nature, you're exploiting nature again and again. But when the time comes, nature retaliates. No human have any power to do anything against it. Nothing you can do. I saw a video of some tsunami, some country, I can't remember, not India, somewhere else. And the way the flood was coming, people were watching with the camera, and those people also got annihilated. The cars were flowing like a matchbox. Huh? Big building and hotels, everything, within seconds, the whole thing was wiped off. Huh? Millions of dollars of property and hundreds and thousands of lives were taken just within few seconds. This is nature. And how we are in front of nature? Avashaha, helpless. That's why many times people say, modern people, we have won the nature. What we have won the nature? We can feel like it, like a child, who's jumping in front of a father. Father may be a big athlete, and child may jump, just from one feet and say, look at me, father, look at me, father, how great I am. And father will say, oh, beta, very nice jump, good jump. We all say to our kids, we all say to our kids, but we know it's just jumping, a little jump, 1 feet jump. Father may be able to jump a lot more. So in front of nature, we are like a little kids. We are just saying these statements. When the nature turns, America or this and that, no country can do anything. We'll just have to sit and wait when the corona goes. Sit and wait. Why? We are helpless. Prakriti is very, very strong. Very, very strong. Okay, next one. The similar series of verses. Satyabhama Mataji, would you like to do one?
Yes, Prabhuji. Bhutagrama sorry. Parastasmatu bhavonyo.
Paratasmatu bhavonyo.
Vyakto vyaktat sanatana.
Vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha.
Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu
Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu
nashyatchu na vinashyati.
nashyatsu na vinashyati.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is.
Thank you, Mataji. So now you must be thinking Krishna is explaining all these verses for temporariness and misery and dukhalayam shashvatam. Krishna said, hang on a second. You don't have to become hopeless. You don't have to become discouraged. I have another option for you. What is that option? Parahatasmatu bhavanyu. There is another one. Anyo. So you can start from here. Anya. Bhava refers to nature. We call bhava as emotion. Bhava is also a nature. There's anya nature. There's another bhava. Anya bhava. Paraha. And that's beyond this. So don't lose your hope. Paratasmatu bhavanyu. Tu refers to Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. What's the tu meaning? Don't look at it. Okay, you can look at it. Tu means but. But. Krishna's tu. But. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Paratasmatu bhavanyu. There is another nature. Paratasma, who's beyond this. Beyond what? Avyakta vyakta sanatanaha. So that one is sanatana. So what is contrasting the word of sanatana in 8:15? Ashashvatam. So mamupeti punajanma dukhalyam ashashvatam. So there it was dukhalyam ashashvatam. Here it is sanatana. That nature is what? Sanatana. And that is beyond avyakto vyakta sanatana. So in the material nature we saw in the previous verses, it sometimes becomes unmanifest, sometimes becomes manifest. But that nature is beyond unmanifest, is avyakta vyakta. So beyond unmanifest and manifest, and it is sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyasyu na vinashyati. Sarveshu bhuteshu, here when all the jivas become nashyati, becomes destroyed, na vinashyati, that nature does not get destroyed. So now Krishna starts showing a glimpse of the spiritual world. So he explained the miseries of the material world so that you can get some detachment. But when you're going down, the father says, Beta, don't get discouraged. I have another better option for you. So what is that better option? Let's continue. 8:21. Priya Mataji, would you like to do one?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes. Avyakto sharati yuktas.
Avyakto akshariti uktas.
Tam ahu paramam gatim.
Tam ahu paramam gatim.
Yam prapya na nivarantante.
Yam prapya na nivartante.
Taddhama paramam mama.
Taddhama paramam mama.
Translation: that which the Vedantas describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Now Krishna starts describing his Tadadham Parma Mama. What is that my dham, my abode? So basically he has described the material nature and he said, hang on a second, you have another better option. What is that better option? He's just sort of expanding on it. So first quality is avyakto akshar iti ukta. So it is unmanifest. Unmanifest to what? Unmanifest to our conditioned nature. So Krishna's abode, you cannot, I think Chaitanya was saying in one class, you cannot make a rocket or something, a Sputnik, who can just cross over the material universe and arrive. He said, you have to raise your consciousness to be able to enter there. You cannot make a viman, you cannot make an aeroplane, a rocket. You cannot do that, because it is avyakta. Avyakta means in a subtle form. Can I read your pleasurable emotions? I can understand, I can guess, but I can't read. Can you put I think someone was giving an example. If you go to the bank and you say, oh, you're going to bank, can you deposit my $100? You give your $100 to that person and he goes in the bank, he deposits your $100 and he gives you a receipt for that, a transfer receipt. And then he gives back to the owner, he said, okay, I have done your deposit. So there's a receipt for that. If you go in Coles or Woolies, you buy, 2 kilo of aloo, potato or something like that. So there's a 2 kilo receipt is there, right? You will say, pay $4 or $5, whatever it is. So the receipt shows you have done that action. But if you ask a mother how much love you have for your child, how many kilos of love you have for your child, is there a receipt for it? how much you love your husband or wife or something like that. Is there a receipt? How much greed you have? Oh, you have 10 kilo greed? I only have 5 kilo greed. This person has 100 kilo anger. I only have 5 kilo anger. Can you say like that? So every emotion is judged differently. If someone is angry, you will know he's angry. One Mataji was telling about her own Prabhu. कहते थे इनको some people say इनको गुस्सा बहुत आता है. And Mataji was saying इनका गुस्सा कभी कभी जाता है. Some people say, sometimes my spouse get angry, but some spouse was saying sometimes he comes normal. He's always angry. So these are all emotions which you experience. You cannot put it on paper. How much love you have for your child, how much anger you have for your neighbor, and whatever it is. So similarly, for these places, for say spiritual world, this is called unmanifest. We cannot see from these mundane eyes. And if you see in Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji said, Premanjan Chureta Bhakti Vilocharina Santa Sadaiv Hridayeshu Vilokyanti. How can you see God? Premanjan Chureta Bhakti Vilocharina. With the eyes of devotion, with the ointment of love, you can see God. If you don't have eyes of devotion, you don't have ointment of love, you cannot see God. You cannot see God. So similarly, Avyakta has to be understood properly. Akshar, this dham is Chara. Chara means destructible. As we are reading, Avyakta and Vyakta. It gets manifest, it gets unmanifest. But this dham of Krishna is Akshar, iti uktas. Aisa kaha gaya hai. It has been said in Prabhupada, right? That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest, which is Avyakta, infallible, Akshara. It never falls, it never gets destroyed. Tam aho paramam gatim. That is called paramam gatim. You remember there's a verse, I think 8:15. Where it says Sansiddhim Paramam Gataha. So what is that Paramam Gati? This is Paramam Gati. Yam Prapya, if you achieve it, na nivartante. So nivartante refers to again and again. Na nivartante means not again and again. So yam Prapya, if you achieve that, na nivartante. In Hindi there is a saying, Mehenga roye ek bar, sasta roye bar bar. If you buy something expensive, you only have to cry once. If you buy something cheap, you have to cry again and again. So Krishna Dham is mehenga, it's very expensive. It takes effort to be there, but ek bar. You just achieve Krishna once and that's about it. But in the material world, it's sasta, it's very cheap. All the pleasures are cheap, many people are cheap, emotions are cheap, everything is, they are not very high people around. They are cheap. That's why we cry again and again. And we have expectation from those cheap people. Our emotions, ourselves have cheap emotions. We get happy by an iPhone, for example. We get happy with a car. We get happy with a shirt even. Oh, thank you for giving such a nice shirt to me. Okay, it's just a shirt. So we are not so high. But Krishna Dham is very, very high. Krishna devotees are very, very high. Tad Dham Paramam. That Dham is mine. Jai Prakash Prabhuji.
Sorry, Prabhu, quick one. The first word like Avyakta, like the abode is being described as Avyakta.
Yes.
Does it, because we know it exists, right? I mean,
Avyakta to our conditioned state. I said that, Prabhuji. So Avyakta to our conditioned state. So with the conditioned eyes, we cannot say, okay, this is the Indra Loka, this is Krishna Loka. We cannot say that.
Okay, this is for us that we
we
won't be able
see. But the Bhaktas can see that.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, I'll just read some Prabhupada lines, very beautiful lines here. From Brahma Samhita. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavan, is full of palaces made of touchstones. There are also trees called desired Kalpataru that supply any type of eatable upon demand, and there are cows known as Surabhi cows which supply limitless supply of milk. So Prabhupada very nicely explaining about the Krishna Loka. Why he's doing that? So that we can get some desire to be out from this miserable place, temporary place, Dukhalaya place, and be there somewhere which is very, very high, very beautiful. There is it's called Vaikuntha, no Kuntha there. 822. Now, how do you achieve that basically? So now Krishna has described that eternal abode, obviously in very summary, but how do you achieve it? That's the answer. 822.
Prabhu, just a quick question. In 8.21,
yes,
Krishna is saying same thing, Tad Dhama Pramam Mama, and then he was saying the same thing in 15.6, Tad Dhama Pramama. So why is he doing the same thing again, like repeating the same, like he told Arjuna same thing here?
Emphasizing.
Okay.
Sometimes when the emphasis is made, Harirnam, 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 Eva Kevalam. So 3 times we are repeating, huh? Kalau, Naste, Naste, Naste. Repetition means more emphasis is given. Yeah. So it's saying,
sorry, it's not in a different context. The same thing you was
yes,
trying
Prabhuji, you're
to
right. It's the same line, Prabhuji. You used in 15:6 as well, and here 8:21 as well. Same line.
Yeah.
I also read many years ago, and I said, "Oh, that sounds very familiar." I looked at both the verses.
Yeah, it's the same.
Line.
Nivartante tadhamma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not a different way. It's the same thing. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Same thing. He's saying, "Come back to my abode. If you achieve my abode, you will never come back." Hey, Mohit Prabhu, we can continue with 8:22.
Sure, Prabhu. Purusha sa parapartha.
Purusha sa parapartha.
Bhaktya labhyastav ananya.
Bhaktya labhastva ananya.
Yasya yanta sthani bhutani.
Yasya anta sthani bhutani.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Yena sarvam idam tatam.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this verse, as I said, is the answer to, like, if you get you are successfully making a sales. Any salesman here? When you make a sales call and anyway, whoever it is. Anyway, just an example here. So if you make a sales call and some people disrespect you and get out from here, why are you calling me? But some people say, oh, really good product. So what do I have to do next? Isn't it? Then you become very happy. Huh? Give me your credit card number. So here Krishna is saying, you agree you have to come here. How do you get it? What's the price you have to pay? Bhaktya labhyatu ananya. Ananya bhakti. Huh? Ananya bhakti. If you have ananya bhakti, so you can achieve that. Now, the rest of the verses, Purusha sa parapartha. What is that Purusha? Purusha Prabhupada said, Supreme Personality here. Para. He is not a normal person. He's para. He's beyond. He's transcendental Purusha. And Prabhupada says, than whom no one is greater. Huh? 7.7 Matta Partharam Na Anyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. So he's the supreme person. And how do you achieve that? Bhaktya labhya. Labhya labh milta hai. You achieve it. How? Ananya bhakti. Ananya refers to na anya. No other tension, no other deviation. Only Krishna. Ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So bhaktya, ananya bhakti, you should have to achieve it. Yes, anta sarvasthani. And what's the quality of that Purusha? Anta sthani bhutani. Uske andar mein kya hai? Sarva bhutani. All the bhutas, all the nature exists within that Purusha, supreme person. Yena sarvamidam. And still he is inside everyone. Now we'll also read this similar thing in the 9th chapter. I think 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. I can't remember. But these 2 verses you will see how Krishna is within everything and how Krishna is outside everything. This contradictory nature. Our acharyas explain a simple explanation I'll give here. So as we know, there are 3 different manifestations of Vishnu. So the first one is known as, in this material nature, what's the first expansion of Vishnu? Everyone knows that. Karanodakashayi Vishnu or Mahavishnu. What Mahavishnu does, one task we can say, he breathes out. He breathes out and universes come. So universes reside in Mahavishnu. Can I say that statement? Is that correct statement? Universes are. And he breathes in and all the bubbles go inside. All the universes go inside his pores. So everything is in Mahavishnu. Can we say that? Yes, definitely we can say that. And now we say Paramatma exists in the heart of every single living entity, even in the Anu, even in the atom, Paramatma exists, even the smallest. And who is that Paramatma? That is Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. So can we say Krishna is outside of everything as Karanodakashayi Vishnu? And we can also say Krishna is inside everything as Paramatma or Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. Both statements are correct. It's a different manifestation. So Lord exists outside of everything as well as inside of everything. So every living entity exists within Mahavishnu, we can say, and Mahavishnu in the form of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu exists within each entity, within each atom as well. Both statements are valid. So Krishna is saying, yes, anta sthani bhutani, all the bhutas are within him, and he is also sarvam idam tatam. He is also in everything. Acharya has also explained this statement is also denotes the Brahman presence. So everything exists in Brahman, and it says now everything is Brahma. Everything is Brahma because everything is the expansion of Brahma. So that also can be denoted with the statement. Okay, next one. This is a beautiful verse. Now, we'll just read two more verses, 6 to 9, very nicely explained by Krishna. I'll just give you a quick intro here. So from 23 to 28, which is the last section of this chapter here, the supremacy of devotion in attaining the Supreme. So Krishna will explain different yogis when they follow different Ashtanga Yoga Marg, and some follow Karma Yoga Marg, some follow Jnana Yoga Marg. Where do they go? When they leave the body, where do they go? And where the devotees go, and how the devotees should leave the body. That's a sort of a summary of this section. So 823. Who hasn't done as yet, he can do. Okay, Jai Prakash Prabhu is ready.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yatra kale tva anavrittim.
Yatra kale tu anavrittim.
Avrittim chaiva yoginaha.
Avrittim chaiva yoginaha.
Prayata yanti tam kalam.
Prayata yanti tam kalam.
Vakshami Bharatashrabha.
Vakshami Bharatashrabha.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Thank you, Prabhu.
So Krishna is sort of beginning the section. Vakshami. Vakshami means I will tell. Bhartashabha. Hey Bhartashabha. Hey Arjuna, I'll explain you. What I will explain you? Yatra kale. So kala refers to time. Yatra kale. In which kal, prayata, you should leave the body. In which kal you should leave the body? Then anavrittim. Anavrittim is no avritti, no coming back. Avrittim chaiva yoganaha. So I'll explain you that kala where you will come back. And I'll also explain you the kala where anavritti, you will not come back. So yogina, now he is not specifying as yet. He's saying, yes, yogis, which kal they will leave, I will explain you where they will come back, and which kal they will leave, where they will not come back. It's just a beginning intro, you can say. Okay, 824. Rasanan Prabhuji, would you like to do?
Yes, sir. Agnir Jyotir Aha Sukla.
Agni Jyoti Aha Shuklaha.
Sanmasa Uttarayanam.
Masa Uttarayanam.
Tatra Prayayata Gachanti.
Tatra Prayata Gachanti.
Brahma Brahma Vido Jana.
Brahma Brahma Vido Janaha.
Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of a waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So he's explaining this verse. Vishwanath Thakur says it is for the Brahma yogis, the Jnana yogis. What is their destination? So Brahma Vidojana. So when do they leave? They should. Agni, so in the presence of Agni. Agni Jyoti, so Agni. Aha refers to anyone? We have read many verses. Aha and Ratri. Aha means daytime. So they should be living in daytime. Shukla refers to Shukla Paksha. So we know Shukla and Krishna Paksha. Shukla Paksha is when there's a waxing moon, and Krishna Paksha is the waning moon. So Shukla Paksha should be there. Daytime should be there. Agni should be present there. Shatbasa Uttarayanam. So we have Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. I'll not go in deeper into their terms, but I think we are quite familiar with those verses. So Uttarayan starts from Makar Sankranti, say from 14th of January onwards for 6 months, and Dakshinayan is say from 14th of July onwards. So they should be leaving their body in the first 6 months of the year. Tatra Prayata Gachanti. Prayata is Prayan Kal. If they leave the body, Gachanti. Brahma Vidojana. They achieve the Brahman. So this is for Brahmavadis. I'll just read the last verse opposite to that. Sundar Prabhu, you want to do the last one?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dhumoratristatha Krishna.
Dhumoratristatha Krishna.
Shanamasa Dakshinayanam.
Shatmasa Dakshinayanam.
Tatra Chandrama Samjyotir
Tatra Chandrama Samjyote
Yogi Prapya Nirvartate.
Yogi Prapya Nivartate.
Translation: the mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches to the moon planet, but again comes back.
The previous verse was for the yogi who are looking after the Brahma Jyoti. Now this verse is for Karma yogis. The karmis do a lot of hard work. Where do they go? Dhumo Rather Satha. So Dhumo refers to Dhumrapan, we say. So means lot of smoke. Ratri is a night time. So previous one was daytime. Tatha Krishna. So this is Krishna Paksha. Previous was Shukla Paksha, this is Krishna Paksha. So Ratri is there, Krishna Paksha is there, and smoky thing is there. Shatmasa Dakshinayam, so later part of the year. Tatra Chandramasam, where do they go? They go to Chandraloka. Chandramasam Jyotir Yogi Prape Nivartate. Nivartate refers to again come back. So they go to Chandraloka, they enjoy there for say 10,000 years or something, and then they come back. So we have read two destinations. Now next time we'll read the destination of a Bhakti Yogi. So that we'll discuss next week, because that is not so easy. It is easy, but it's very interesting. Okay, we'll stop here at 6:15 sharp. Any quick questions?
One quick question, Ravi.
Yes.
In the previous one, 24, it says Agni Jyoti, so presence of fire. So is it to presence of sun?
Yeah, so Prabhupada writes presence of fire god. So fire god is present in different ways to us. And fire god is one of the important carriers of soul with the subtle body. So Prabhupada writes in his purport, I'll just read the line. There are different demigods. It is to be understood that over all of them, there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. So the fire god can be present in different form.
Okay. Wherever
the presence of Agni is there, that can be considered as the presence of fire god. And that can be one sun, as you said.
Yeah.
It can be a physical Agni as well, and can be some other manifestations of fire god.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Sundar Prabhu, any quick announcements you have?
Not really an announcement, Prabhu. Just probably I should have discussed with you first, but just a quick question. And I know you mentioned it last couple of weeks back about changing the timing of the class, Prabhu.
Yes.
Like bringing it a little back by maybe
it
half.
Will happen in April, Prabhuji.
April.
Yeah. So this
any chances that it can temporarily happen for next week, Prabhu?
Next week, temporarily happen next week. Okay, if it's just one off, 3:30.
We got Gauramani Mataji coming here for a program, so
that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, so just if you don't know the discussion, other devotees, some devotees want to go to temple on Sunday evening, which is perfectly fine. And once we finish the class, it's a little bit hard for them to come to temple on time. So we're planning from next term. I mean my boys or student term, we can decrease it from, instead of 4, we'll do at 3:30 to say 5:45 or something, which will make devotees' life a little easier. But right now, we can't do it for many reasons. But as soon as Prabhu is requesting for one class, is that okay with the devotees present here? 3:30, Sundar Prabhu will work?
Yeah, Prabhu can work. 3 would be better, but 3:30 is also.
So I honestly can't do 3. It will be very tight for me.
3:30 should.
Yeah. If you have to go, Prabhu, at 5:45, please proceed. Yeah. Because I myself cannot do it, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's do just one off for now, 3:30 next week. That's okay. Jeff, you have something to say quickly?
Sorry, bro. No, not just for next week, but in general, the same thing. Like, is it possible to bring it little forward, like
yes,
instead of starting from 2 o'clock or something?
2
Not
o'clock.
next week. I mean, going forward when you are reconsidering the timing.
Okay.
I'm just saying if it's possible.
Okay, we'll check on that one. I was thinking about 3:30 for now, because I have other commitments as well, which by the time I fulfill is already 3 o'clock, so very tight already. Anyway, we'll work on that, Prabhuji. So next week we are doing 3:30 just as a one-off, and then following week we'll do 4 to 6, and then probably mid-April or something, we can move to 3:30 as a permanent schedule of this class. Okay. Sure. Thank you so much, everyone. Just a side announcement. We are doing a kirtan for His Holiness Kanam Kanan Maharaj in the temple. You're most welcome to come to temple. If not, at your home, you can watch on Mayapur TV or pray for Maharaj better health. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. God bless. Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.